Welcome back, beautiful soul. Another episode of the Reclamation. I am Paula Collins, your Magdalene priestess, intuitive sound healer, and spiritual mentor. And today, I want to talk to you about something that has shown up for me recently. And it's something that I know shows up for so many of us. It's called imposter syndrome. Now, let's be real. Imposter syndrome doesn't knock gently at the door. It barges in, loud and heavy, whispering, or sometimes shouting that we aren't enough, that we don't belong, or that someone else is doing it better. And this past week, I felt it hard. It stopped me dead in my tracks. But here's the gift. It made me pause. It made me reevaluate my beliefs, and it helped me to ask the important question, is this voice even mine? So let me tell you a little bit about what happened. I am in this incredible divine feminine business mastermind. And it is for women who are healers. It is for women on the spiritual path. It is for women who have dedicated themselves to helping others reclaim the parts of themselves that they forgot about. And we all do it in different ways. Sure, other women do Reiki and sound healing, but we all do it differently. Other women are Magdalene priestesses. And guess what? We all do that differently too. And we are getting to an interesting part of this mastermind that is stretching us in so many ways, because I have to tell you, the best part of what I do is when I'm with my clients and I'm listening to the struggles that they have and and I'm listening to how it is affecting their lives personally, professionally, when they're out with friends, even when they're with a beloved. And I get to help them look at where things are coming from and what their beliefs and values are, and how that affects their worldview. And then I give them tips and techniques that they can use so that when things like this pop up, they're able to say, you know what? I know how to do this. So I was looking at all of the things that I had to do for this week because I have a really big event coming up in October. And it's a free 5-day event called the Divine Empowerment Experience. And I am so excited about so many parts of this, let me tell you. Like, it has me jumping for joy that I get to offer this free 5-day event. But then I look at all the things that has to happen in order for it to take place. And it's more than just emails and creating pretty graphics. It's more than just talking to other people in my line of work in the healing industry and asking them if they would like to be a part of it. It's actually stretching me to ask them, because I look at how they are showing up in the world and I look at the wonderful things that they're doing. And that little voice started to pop into my head saying, Do you really think you're as good as them, Paula? Do you really think what you're just as good as what they have? Do you really think that these women are going to want to come and support you for free? And that made me stop. And it made me ask a question, who am I to even ask them? Who am I to even reach out? Who am I to offer this? And it stopped me dead in my tracks because I started to feel like I wasn't enough. I started to feel like maybe I didn't measure up the way I needed to. And as I looked through their social media and I looked at what they're doing in the world, I was like, wow, they're doing it better than I am. And I was talking with some of my beautiful new friends who are a part of this business mastermind. And I realized that some of them are so incredibly amazing and they have these incredible programs. And I started looking at mine and I'm like, does mine measure up? And look at them, they're young, they're vibrant, they're beautiful. And look at me, I'm over 50. Who am I to talk about these things? Do you see the things that were coming up for me? It was hard. It was really hard for those voices to pop up, and mine were not whispering. Mine were screaming at me. And then I looked at all of the things I had to do on the back end with my website to make sure that all the links work and all of that. And I'm like, wow, you are so not qualified to do this stuff. You know nothing about technology. You have problems making links work. What makes you think that when you create this and put this out for the people, that they're even going to be able to sign up? And I thought to myself, maybe I should stop. Maybe I should throw in the towel. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And then when I was thinking about talking about this in a podcast, it came up, well, are people going to see me as weak? Are people going to be able to overlook the fact that I still struggle with this? And so I had to sit with it. I gave myself a few minutes to wallow in the woe is me, I'm not good enough. And it didn't feel good in my body to do that. It made me very lethargic. Some of it made me sick to my stomach. Some of it made me want to go back to bed, pull the covers over my head, and just go to sleep so I didn't have to think about it. Some of it made me want to turn on the TV to get lost in a movie or to scroll like a zombie on my social media, which I don't normally do, so I wouldn't have to think about it. And then I realized, well, the past few days, my morning rituals and routines have kind of been hit or miss. And I have been so wound up in so many other things that I haven't taken the time I need to meditate. I haven't taken the time I need to connect with Magdalene and Yeshua. I haven't taken the time I need to listen to the affirmations that I created for myself that are on my phone that I normally listen to every day, that gives me that extra pump of energy to work through it. And I also realized that some of the conversations that I had during that time with people weren't very nourishing conversations. I have some people in my life who choose not to understand what I do. And when I tell them what I do, they kind of give me that stare like, is this stuff really real? And so I had all of these other voices coming at me. And then I realized, okay, what am I going to do about this? Because I'm not a quitter. What am I going to do about this? Because I have a purpose. I have a mission. I have a reason why I incarnated on this earth at this time. And to quit would be a slap in the face to my angels and my guides and to God. And I realized that I needed to sit down and start to journal. So I did. I grabbed my journal and I just started to write. And then I went back and I read it and I was shocked at what came up because some of the not enoughness, some of the I don't belong, some of the someone else is doing it better were still some old wounds that I thought I had released, but more of them were coming to the surface. And I realized at that moment that the imposter syndrome came up to give me the opportunity to stop, to journal, and to heal. And it became a gift. Instead of seeing it as something that was going to happen, I saw it as what? I am grateful that it popped up. And it made me reevaluate where I am right now. And yes, I asked the question, is this voice even mine? And I realized that there were narratives that are still circulating in my head that are going to pop up. And then I remembered talking to one of my mentors who has been at this for 20 years. She is extremely successful. And she had said to me back, oh my gosh, when I was in the course to become a priestess, she had said to me, I've been doing this work for 20 years and the stuff still pops up. And I see her as this incredibly dynamic woman who is so centered, who is so positive, who is so in touch with the divine and herself. And she still has that. And I realize that I'm not alone. I realize that I am in good company with a lot of other people. And then I remembered what my mentors in my business mastermind said, that those moments when you are on the roller coaster and they're going to come and you start to lose belief in yourself, borrow our belief in you, because you would not be here in this mastermind if we did not believe that you were going to be successful. And I remember them saying, we turned people away. And it made me stop. And it made me realize that what I was feeling was okay, that it came up so I could heal another part of me. Because remember, I like to think of it now. I used to say we're onions, but now I like to think of it as we are this ever unfolding rose or this ever unfolding lotus flower that has thousands and thousands and thousands of petals. And when a petal peels back, something rises up so we can heal. And yes, so I saw it as this beautiful gift. And I worked through it. And I came out on the other side feeling energized, feeling so much more ready to be on this path and to do the things I needed to do. And it also made me realize that I needed to hire a virtual assistant to help me do some of the back end stuff that I do not have the skills in. because it made me think about where is my areas of excellence and where are my areas that I am not so good at. And it is okay to have all the things in between. And in order to be in my zone of excellence or my zone of genius, I need to delegate some of the things that are going to take too much time for me to work on, especially now when I don't have the time to learn it. And that, my friends, was a huge aha. Because how many of us try to do it all? How many of us put our self in so many different boxes, in so many different experiences, and some of them drain us and some of them uplift us. And if we have the ability to delegate the things that are draining us, that are pulling us down, then we do it. And I get that sometimes we have to do the things we're not good at. Believe me. But I also get that the universe puts people in our path that allow us to free up time, that allow us to let them use their gifts and talents, because we don't have to do it all. So let's talk about a few things about imposter syndrome now that I told you my story. What is imposter syndrome? It is this inner voice that tells you you're a fraud, even when you're fully capable and qualified. It often comes from conditioning, old stories we've picked up, past wounds, or even the energy of conversations we've absorbed for others. Can you see all of this in my story? I was feeling like a fraud, even though I am fully capable and qualified to do what I do. I still had some old conditioning, some old stories and past wounds and energies of conversation that I absorbed, that I now allowed myself to release. And here's the big thing. Imposter syndrome creeps in at the exact moment we are stepping into expansion, growth, or visibility. Why does that do it? Because our ego wants to keep us safe, comfortable, and in what we know. See, there are two different types of ego. There's the ego that protects us, that reminds us of all the things that have happened because it wants to keep us safe and comfortable and in what we know. And then there is the other ego that makes us think that we are better than everybody else, right? And it is the ego with a small e that says, don't do it. Remember what happened last time? Oh my gosh, you were hurt. You were disappointed. You were deflated. You don't want to go there again. But as we grow, as we are on our journey and we grow, we become wiser. We expand what we are able to do in all parts of our life. And so there's no need to look backwards because we're going forward. So why does it really creep up? Well, I like to think of imposter syndrome as a signal, not a sentence. It's the signal. It shows up, like I said, when we are on the edge of growth, when we're stretching into something bigger. And it's a checkpoint in our life. And it asks us, do you really believe in yourself? Do you really trust your gifts? Do you really want to be on this path moving forward? So I want you to think about that the next time imposter syndrome creeps up. It's asking you to stop at a checkpoint and ask yourself, do you really believe in yourself and your gifts? Do you really want to be on this path? And if we choose to look deeper, we often find that the fears or doubts don't even belong to us. They're echoes of the past. They are the negative words. They are the voices of the people who questioned us, or the conditioning that told us we need to be perfect. And there's another word, perfect. Perfect is the biggest paralyzer. And it was a hard lesson for me to learn. I don't always have to be an A+. I conditioned myself to be the A+. My parents didn't even expect me to be the A+. I conditioned myself. And it was because of the trauma that I had gone through. And I've talked about the bullying. Right? So I conditioned myself to be perfect. Well, perfectionism will freeze us. It will paralyze us, and it will stop us from believing in ourselves. It will stop us from trusting our gifts, and it will trust us from moving further on our journey. Now sound like our own voice because we've adopted them and embodied them over the years. Pop up. Say, whoa, that's not me. That's not why I'm here. That's not supporting me and nourishing me. That's making me take a step back. That's making me silence my voice. That's making me hide my gifts. Because when we take that moment to stop and to listen at that checkpoint and do the deeper dive, we enable ourselves to gain more wisdom. So when it shows up, here are some steps that I like to take, and maybe they'll help you too. Listen to them, take what resonates, and throw the rest out. I stop and I breathe. I pause and I breathe. I will just close my eyes and I will tune into my breath. Because when I tune into my breath, I become more conscious of me and where I am. Because on a daily basis, I was going to say breath, wow, we breathe kind of shallow because it's an involuntary thing our body does. But when we stop and we pay attention to our breath and we notice its rhythm and we start to take a deep inhale and we take a very purposeful exhale, we don't push through the spiral. We start to ground ourselves because we're not trying to push through. And we shouldn't try to just push through because we don't want to feel it. We stop, we take a breath, we ground ourselves. We ground ourselves in our truth and in our purpose and in our mission. We're all here for different reasons. Ground yourself in your purpose and your mission. Ground yourself in a beautiful, deep breath. The second thing is ask whose voice it is. Is this your authentic self? Or is it an old wound? Is it a societal expectation? Is it the voice of somebody else? Because here's the thing, my beautiful friends, our authentic voice would not speak to us that way. But our authentic self may be hidden under layers and layers and layers of the expectations and the woundings and the voices of other people. And when we ask ourselves, whose voice is it? It makes us pause. And it helps us to realize, it helps us to understand that there's something else going on. And so many times, just saying, whose voice is this, makes it go away. The third thing is we reframe it as a signal. So many times, imposter syndrome looks like a stop sign, a big flashing red stop sign. But change your perspective and reframe it and see it as this incredible, bright green light saying, you know what, you're growing, you're leveling up, this is okay. It's okay to feel this. It's okay to stop yourself from, I don't know, it's okay to stop yourself from listening to it. It's okay to release it because you're growing, you're leveling up, you're ascending, you're expanding. The next thing I do is I affirm my worth. And I speak it over myself. I will place both hands over my heart. Sometimes one hand over my heart and one over my solar plexus, or one over my sacral chakra, and I will speak words over myself that are worthy. I am create your own. You know, one of my biggest affirmations that I speak over myself every morning when I chant with my mala beads is this: I am sacred, holy, and divine. I'm beloved. And this is what I tell myself in the morning. And let me tell you, when I don't do my chanting, my mala, my recitation of it, it makes a difference. And let me tell you, the morning that the imposter syndrome popped up, I got so busy in the doing that I forgot to speak my words of affirmation over me. And here's the next thing that I do. You take one brave step forward. It can be small or it can be big. Depends on how brave you are feeling and how motivated you are feeling. Because you know what? Action is the antidote. And even one small step proves to yourself that you can move past doubt. One small action, even if that action is stopping to do your affirmation, you do it anyway. One brave step forward. And that's what I have been doing this week. And that's what I did the day that the imposter syndrome rose to the surface. And I took time to journal and dig deeper. Then I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm going to do the scary thing. Because, my friends, that is what courage is. It is doing the scary thing. Even when you feel a little icky, you do it anyway. So when imposter syndrome comes knocking, I want you to remember something. And if you take nothing else from this whole podcast, take this. When it comes knocking, remember, it's not here to defeat you. It's here to invite you deeper into your own truth. It is a mirror reflecting where you're ready to grow. And the next time it creeps up, you can say, thank you for showing me where I'm being called to rise up. Thank you so much for joining me, loves. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who needs this reminder. Leave a comment. Let me know where you are at on this journey. Right? Because here's the thing, and this is important too. We are on a journey together. We are not meant to do it alone because all of us have gifts that support one another. And if you would like to continue on this journey together, I invite you to come connect with me on Instagram at Serene Wellness with Paula, on TikTok at Serene Paula, because I would love to help you with this. I would love to help you learn the tools that you need to overcome it. I would love to help you release those limiting beliefs and those outdated values that are keeping you stuck. And I would love to hold space for you to do that. So until next time, keep reclaiming your sacred power. Keep calling it back to you. So much love and respect for each and every one of you. And until next time, so much love. Bye-bye for now.